So minding the mind. You know, when we start with, we all want to meditate and we all want to reach the highest goal. And we think, you know, we can sit and stop the mind immediately. It's not so easy. And what we do is when the mind starts talking to us, we start ingesting more of this talk rather than watching this talk that goes on in the mind. We ingest it and we make it deeper. For example, when you sit down and meditate and go, I really want to meditate, I want to get in touch with my higher self, and then all the past, all the negative emotions will come up. And when they come up, they make associations with your past. They will make associations because it's always the things that you most fear, the things that you're most frightened of, and the things that you want to just pretend that are not there will keep coming up, but you won't mind them, you won't listen to them, and you'll try to purge them aside, keep them aside, and instead think, oh yes, you see, I'm really putting on this mantra and I'm getting better and better, and yes you are, and the mantra will help you. But ultimately, in order to really understand the process of the soul, you really have to mind the mind. You can't, it's another issue when you put it aside those things. What you have to recognize very clearly in yourself, first and foremost, when you're minding your mind, is constantly tell yourself, as I think, so I become, so I am. So watch the kind of language the mind is coming up with. If the mind is coming up with, okay, brings things from the past up, which you work out, and it's, oh, I'm such a terrible person. I am such a terrible person. Present tense, present tense. I am miserable. Present tense. You need to watch that. I was such a terrible person. And I'm working so hard now. I'm just working to better myself. That changes the whole landscape of the mind. It changes the whole canvas that you can draw on. So minding the mind goes really deep. It's kind of repetitive statements. For example, Tanya, you may say this one, you always say, I really want to meditate, but I never seem to, I always get up in the morning and then I just don't do it, right? I don't. I really want to, but I don't. And when I do, I feel so good. So what you have to change is your mind the mind. What is it telling you? I really want to, but I don't. And so you won't. So the mind will say, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow, but I feel really good. So you need to take that I really feel really good when you're minding the mind, when you get up in the morning and it goes, I'm really tired. Mind the mind. You're fooling me again. You're really fooling me again. Yes, I'm really tired. You're absolutely right, I'm really tired. But I feel really good when I meditate, so sorry, mind. And then you physically bring the body up. Once you do it 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, your minding the mind will take over. And then you'll find it so easy to get up every day. And you keep repeating while you're going through that process, when I do it, I feel really good. It's what we call pratipaksha bhavana. Replacing the negative with the positive. Remembering how you feel when you feel really good. Instead of remembering how you feel, oh, did it again. Oh, I'm going to do it again. I am going to do it again. What have you just said? What have you just said? I'm going to do it again, so you will do it. And this is the thing about watching your mind and what comes up in the mind. And this is why we say, train the mind with mantras, with sound, because sound vibrations work on a higher level. They just work on a different vibrational field. Therefore, bringing your mind to a more comfortable place, a much more safe place, where thoughts and past injuries or past pains or present pains can be lulled and nurtured by those vibrations. Because those vibrations are vibrations of love. They're higher sounds that take you to a higher place. Otherwise, when you're just going there into the cold with your mind, with your pain, with your sorrows, it's too much. It's too hard to do. So you need help, and we call that help the higher self or God or whatever you want to call it. I call it the God of love. And this is why I think when you're minding the mind, it's really important, for me at least, is to bring up that feeling of love prior to meditation. Prior to the time you stop and sit with yourself. Because once you're sitting, it's a little late. Gurudev used to say, what is the most important part of cooking a meal? He said, it's the preparation of it, right? The shopping, the chopping, that preparation takes long. Then you put it together, it's really quite quick. So it is with your mind. Prior to sitting in meditation, prep your mind. How do you prep your mind? If you find it difficult to mind your own mind, because it's in a negative place, you take something higher, of high vibrational value, that can help you and will do it for you, because in essence, you are connected. We talked about the chakras last week. You can see so clearly we're totally connected with the higher source. We're just a body with wires going through the central backbone all the way up to this chakra, which opens up and connects us. In the Gita, it talks about an upside down tree. We're connecting. All those nervous systems are connecting electrically. We're electrical. We really are. This is why, I don't know if any of you get affected by the storm. This weekend I really laughed. Electrical storm, lots of thunder, right? That's electrical. There's a lot of electricity. I laughed because obviously I'm susceptible. Friday night it started. I had a really bad cold. Yesterday at 1 o'clock it abated and my cold got better. I'm working with the storm here. Because you are very susceptible. We are. That's why weather systems affect us. And so many things affect us in our life that we're not even aware of. Because we are electrical. So using this understanding that we're scientific instruments, really, with this great spiritual energy and consciousness that lives within this instrument. And then you use that consciousness, and for me that consciousness only becomes alive and real when we're in that field of love and warmth and safety, when we feel safe. And all the thoughts that come to our mind when we mind the mind are fears like, what if I fall again? Or what if I, don't get there? What if I don't, what if I become a failure? It's all the what ifs. The thing is, we never know what's going to happen tomorrow. So when you use the higher consciousness, you surround yourself in love first. And this is how I could do mind my mind, to protect it from any anguish or pain or traumas that I could face. I put it in a cushion first. So how do you put it in a cushion? And for me, putting it in a cushion was thinking about something that raised the level of my own vibration. Raised my own vibration. So when you're negative, when you're fearful, your vibration is very low. It's not that you want to be. Nobody wants to be in the low vibration, but it is. It becomes very low, and you know it. Because you're not happy with yourself, you're not comfortable with yourself, and you want to get out. And the more you tell yourself, I have to get out, I have to, the mind will rebel. It will rebel. You can't have to. It has to be allowed to be nurtured with love, with kindness, with laughter. As I so often tell my story, like after my husband died, the pain was so tremendous that I had to cushion myself. Even with the love of God that I had wasn't enough at that time. I had to cushion myself around laughter, and therefore something as simple as the programs like Friends, that was so like no thinking, saved me. It literally saved me. Because sometimes you have to bring yourself to that cushioning that is best for you at that particular time. Because the sorrow is so deep that you need the total opposite nonsense. Anything deeper will just drown you deeper. Then you'll start thinking too deep, and you're already you're drowning. You need to get up, so you need to have something that's quite earthly, quite on this plane to make you laugh. So you have to understand your mind and the cushioning it needs, okay? So, love, bring your heart to that level. What makes your heart sing? Ask yourself, what makes my heart sing? For me, music is another lovely thing. Music makes my heart sing, you know. So I also sang a lot. I sang a lot. Actually, my husband wrote me a song before he died, about dying, 20 years before. And one of the verses was, I wish you happiness, there'll be sunshine in the skies, and you'll feel the morning dew, and the birds that are singing everywhere are singing just for you. Give me a sign if you hear me. One little sign will assure me. You know? And I kept on singing this song. I said, the birds will be singing. And he said, I wish you happiness and hope one day you'll find another one to take my place and bring you peace of mind. Till then I'll stay with you, I'll always be right here. You only have to call my name and your tears will disappear. And I used to sing this all the time. I played it again and again and again and again and again. I got Dennis to make a record out of it, got my grandkids to sing, because it was like this love kept coming back. And love is what heals. Love is what heals. There's nothing else that can heal pain but love. And the pain of losing love is what we're feeling. It's a gap, but there's no gap really, because love always stays with us. No matter, even if a person leaves us, that love stays, and we have to cushion ourselves with that love. And for me, that love was the divine energy called God. And that is an unconditional love. But of course, at that point in the darkness in your life, when you face loss, that God is gone. So what can you hold on to? This is where the mantra comes in as well. Sound, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. If you don't like the mantra, choose something, and this too shall pass, and this too shall pass, and this too shall pass. And visualize that joy, and visualize yourself smiling, and visualize that there was a meaning for us to be here. There's a meaning, you know. Am I wasting all my time in this self-pity or feeling a victim? There is a reason for me being. And the reason is not about me, the reason is about love. It's about others who need love too. It's not all about me. And then the heart goes outwards. You know, what do my children need, or what do my Sangha need? And that love builds up, because now you have a family in your heart already. There's a family, and the gap fills up. The gap fills up. Because as our master said, there's 3 things you need in order to live this life. You need to feel useful, you need to be peaceful, and you need to be easeful. And the moment you feel useful, then there is a healing. There is a way you can fix yourself. And again, feeling useful is because, why? Because we are all instruments of love, and we need to love in order to live. Whatever it is, but you know, our concept of love is so small that we think we can only love this family or this person or this situation. But when the concept of love grows to love for all things, all life, all animals, all creatures. Oh, by the way, did you get in touch with the animals yesterday? Yeah, great.
Yes, it was fantastic. So many people came. How many dogs did they have? 300? 300. The place was flooded. Mostly Spanish, weren't they? A lot of Spanish.
Next year people.
Yeah, it was just incredible. They took all the dogs and they put them in the bull ring in Los Barrios. Yeah, I mean, it was just incredible.
Yeah, you see, love.
The network, there's a network of people that you call.
I think it's
suppose,
wonderful.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, you did it, right? And that opens your heart. That's why serving and giving is so incredible. It just wow, it puts you into healing already. Then there's no I, if, all this small-minded stuff that goes minding the mind disappears. It disappears when you work for the greater good. It actually disappears. And then when you're minding the mind, when you're thinking of the greater good, you finally realize that the happiest part is when you are the greatest good, when you become the greatest good that you are. And it's not about saving a few lives, it's just knowing that you are doing the duty that was called for you to do. And many times we are given messages that we need to go out there and hug the world in whichever way, and we don't listen to those messages because we're so involved in ourselves. And by hugging the world, it could be just helping one single person, especially yourself. Hug yourself. This is why minding the mind is heal yourself first, and then you can hug the world. And the only way you can do it is through this great energy that is so divine. We call it God, I call it love, I call it everything. But because it touches the warmth in your heart, it awakens something. It makes you want to wake up in the morning. It makes you want to live. It makes you want to sing. So sing, cover yourself in love. And when you start to meditate, bring all these feelings. When you're going through your bad times, remember all the good times. Start to focus on all the good things that have happened, that brought great moments in your life. And they'll happen again. Why not? Why not? If you look at your life, there's so many miracles in each one's life. And then you think, why not? It'll happen again, and even better this time. Because now, you know what? I know how to mind my mind. I know how to watch it. I know that it will not trick me. And when it brings you into the spiral, you will notice your language, notice your eyes when you look in the mirror. If you're looking a little sad and depressed, ask yourself, why? When your face is grumpy, why? What is it? Am I going into an old pattern? Am I feeling jealous? Am I feeling not good enough? Am I feeling why not me and why that person? Why am I getting this kind of look on my face? So mind your mind. If you mind it, it will tell you right away, I'm arrogant, I'm jealous, I'm possessive. It will tell you right away. And if you can watch it and hold it and see it, oh my God, my problem is that I'm jealous. That's why I'm suffering. So what do? Fill that jealousy with love and say, why? I'm not lacking. I am a child of the universe, and I have so much to give as who I am, because we're all different and we're all unique. And stop the comparison. Start to remember who you are. Start to remember. Stop comparing. That's the secret. Start to remember who you are, a divine being. Each one is divine. I am divine. Are you divine?
Yes.
Yeah, can you say it? Can you say I'm divine? Yeah, that's great. I want to hear it more. Are you divine? Yeah, as you think. And don't you feel right when you say it, and when you hold back and you can't say it? It means that there's a block. You're not connecting. And when you say I am divine, you're not really talking about this. Can you try and get away from the personal you? You're not talking about this body or this mind. You're talking about something greater. You're talking about the energy field where you came from, the power game where we were created. We're talking about that I am divine. And that lives within us, and we're connecting to that. So the little I that's got all its personal problems no longer becomes important. It's that bigger I that lives in you becomes more spacious. And if you become, when we talked about the heart chakra last week, and when you're working from this chakra, what happens? There is an expansion of energy, right? When you love, there is an expansion. Your whole body expands outwards like this. But when you are not liking or not loving, your whole body does this. You close up. And when you close up, you close your source up. You close your source up. You close your healing up. And you don't even realize you're doing it because you're not minding the mind. So the body will tell you all these funny tricks that the mind does. So watch your body. Many times when people come to see me initially, they come like this. And I know, oh my God, they're really sad. So the first thing I do is watch your body. What is it you're talking You're telling yourself you're not happy. And yes, you're not happy. But doing this will make it even worse because as you think, it becomes. So move back a bit. I'm not happy. And it's okay. I'm full of love. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. And then if you're, religiously inclined, I tell the Catholics, then you visualize Lord Jesus and so many people. Have I ever told you about the lady with the teeth? Have I ever told you that lovely story? And my first bit, oh my goodness. There's a lady who came to me, she was about 40, at that time I was the same age as her. Wow, that's a long time ago. She was about 46 and I was about 46. But when she walked into my office at that time, she looked like 62, honestly. I really got a shock when she told me she was 46. Anyway, sat down, been depressed for many years, been all over the world, constantly depressed. And I couldn't understand why she was so depressed because I talked to her about her family. And so anyway, she was very religious and probably a lot of old guilt. A lot of old guilt, the way she was brought up. Anything she did wrong in her life was just going to hell kind of thing, right? So I used her own belief system. And I said to her, tell me, how long have you been depressed? She's so long, I'm on so many drugs. And I go, have these drugs helped you? How many years? 10 years. Are you better? Worse? Why are you taking them? If you're taking something to make you better, why aren't you better? Why aren't you using your intelligence? Oh, because all the psychologists say I have to take it because I'm depressed. Okay, so go back into your life. Were you always depressed? Were you depressed as a young child? No, I wasn't depressed. When did it start? After my children. Oh, maybe you had postnatal depression. Did you see anybody about that? Because many women go through this. It's quite common. No, I never saw anybody. I just continued after my second child. I said, you never saw it, and I just took medications. Okay. Prior to that, anything in your life? So I said, do you have a faith? She says, oh, I'm a Catholic. I love Lord Jesus and I love Mother Mary. And I go, okay, do you believe in healing? I was just playing games with her. Real nice games. And she really gave me a surprise. She said, yeah, I really love. I had a real miracle in my life when I was 16. And I go, okay, tell me about your miracle. She's given me permission to tell this story. So long ago, I haven't seen her for so many years. She gave me permission. She said, when I was 16, I had a fall when I was a young child, so I lost a couple of my front teeth. And so I had a brace. And I was 16 years old, and I went into Catlin Bay, and I went for a swim. And when I went for a swim and I came out, my teeth had fallen off. And I had a date that night. And my teeth had fallen. And I was so in love with this man. And she said, I ran up from the beach, telling everybody, I lost the people that she knew. If you know Gibraltar, it's quite small. I went to find my teeth, and she ran to her house. And her grandma, she said, it must have been like my Mother Mary out there, because I love Mother Mary. Had a lovely statue of Mother Mary. And then she said to the beach, oh, Mother Mary, you have to find me my teeth. Today, you have to find me my teeth. I need it. I have a date tonight. I mean, this is the most incredible story, I tell you. And anyway, she said, 1 hour later, a fisherman knocked on the door, because she went screaming, right? I told you she went screaming from the beach. Knocked on the door, came up in his net. And of course he knew it was the daughter of this woman who lived in this building in Gibraltar. Very easy, they'll find you. There was a postcard my father sent me to Gibraltar many years ago. In Nalanie, Main Street, I got it. My shop was just across the post office. I knew everybody in the post office. Where else in the world will that happen, right? So anyway, so she got that, and she got the teeth, and I go, that's really some miracle. It's some miracle. I mean, how do you find it in the sea, Catlin Bay? Oh my God, she got her teeth back. So I said to her, yeah. And when she was remembering this story, of course you could see what happened. Do you know what happened? light came back into her eyes. Her eyes were really, you know when people take a lot of drugs, you see their eyes? They're not themselves anymore. They look like a little in another world. I call it the black cloud, by the way. That's my personal name for it. When I see people with those eyes, they're in a black cloud, you know, and they're in this stage where they're stuck. They're stuck. And you have to give them something that's so full of light that wakes them up. Well, her own story woke herself up. The light came back in her eyes. And I thought, this is my moment. So I said, okay, you have so much faith. That's a real incredible miracle. She said, you know what? I hadn't thought about it for years. It's an incredible miracle. I said, all these drugs you've been depending on these years, they haven't helped you. Why don't you go back to that same statue of Mother Mary? Yeah, it's in my mother's house. Want to try another miracle? You seem to demand them and you get them quick. And then she said, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go home and I'm going to pray. And I know she's going to help me. Of course she's going to help me. I know, because she had the miracle. Do you see? I know what's happened to the mindset already. Not what she'd heard for years, minding the mind. You know, you're depressed, you need medication. Without medication, you cannot get out of this. And that's what she'd heard. So whatever she tried, without medication, you cannot get out of this. So she believed she could not get out. But her religious belief was far stronger. Anyway, I said, well, you've got to do a couple of things along with this. I said, your poor husband, how does he feel? And your son, she told me she had a son as well. Oh, he looks so sad. He said, all he wants is to see me happy. That's all he asks of you. I said, you're very lucky he hasn't left you for another woman yet. I said, I didn't even think about it. I said, that's how far you are. I said, you know, can you imagine you are so lucky? He's loved you unconditionally. I'm not going to do it too much longer if you keep like that. And I said, do you mind if I be really truthful to you? Can you please go color your hair? You're only 46. Put some makeup on. You're a beautiful woman. You look old. She took it really well. I said, do something to make yourself feel good. So anyway, I said, I'll see you in 1 week. And I said, do something nice for your husband. I said, it'll make you feel so good. I always tell them, buy him a rose or buy him a bar of chocolate. She really was good. She did it. And anyway, I go, fast forward, next week. Appointment. Knock my door. Open this door. I go, oh! Couldn't recognize her. She looked her age. And she smiled. And she said, Mother Mary, you did great. I love you, Mother Mary. And that's what she said. She said, I went back to that statue. I took the flower. I took the chocolate. I went to the statue. I asked my mom if I could just go into the room and if she could leave me alone. And I prayed that I would get out of this. It's enough is enough. She said, enough is... Do you see the words there? You see minding the mind. The words, enough is enough. It suggested, I don't want this anymore. She was finally ready to let go of her depression, my depression. And actually, I got a bit of a shock because I told her that she should not get off medication without weaning very, very slowly. She actually told me she took all her medicine and put it down the toilet. I was a little worried. It was my early days, and I thought in counselling, oh my God, what if she has a shock reaction? What if she? And then I prayed the whole night, every night, for 3 weeks till I found out she was really okay. And I made her see me every week because I was, kind of worried. Is she going to do this? And I prayed along that, oh God, please, help her through this. And together we worked through it, and she was fine after that. But that was so brave of her, So, you see, when you use something higher, you can really fix your mind very easily. You can really mind your mind. And also when I'm going to tell you one more story because I realize the time's already gone. It's already 35 minutes, and I said 25, I'll talk. Also, when we do things in life, we have to be very careful about our actions, all right? Actions are really, really important. And sometimes, we make excuses for bad actions, and we cover them up by saying we're doing a good thing, and really we're not. We fool ourselves, okay? And let me give you this simple story, which I see a lot in the business world. There was this man, he used to live in the country and he used to have many cows, so he used to get good milk. And he'd cross the river every day and sell the milk. And his milk was so delicious that everybody wanted his milk. So the whole village across the street would buy his milk. And he was doing well, he was happy. And then one day he got this thought. I'm selling so much milk. If I dilute it a little bit, I can double my money. Everybody has so much faith in me. Nobody will mind. Nobody will notice. Okay, so he dilutes the milk and he sells more milk and he gets lots of money. So, in the olden days when they used to keep money in a handkerchief, do you know how they used to do it? Have you seen it? My grandmother used to do it. She used to put money in a white handkerchief like that. They didn't have purses, tie it like this, and then make a knot and tie it on their belt. That's how she did it. That's how all her money was on this handkerchief and a belt. So in India they do that. So anyway, he had a big bunch of money, so he divided it into two, and he tied it on both sides of his belt. And he was going to cross the river, but that day was really windy and rainy, kind of like yesterday, and the river was kind of rough. And of course, as the water kept on coming into the boat, he was telling the boatman, hurry, get us to the other side. And the water came up. And you know what water is like? It can take, if the knot is not hard, hard enough. So one side, the knot came off with the water, and all the money flowed into the water and went away. And then when he got across the river, he was really upset. He said, I've lost half my money. And the boatman, who noticed what he was doing, because he brought him every day, looks at him and said, milk money came to the milk. Water money went back to the water. So many times I see in life, people don't really watch their actions. And, so the actions are not so pure. So you really have to mind that in your own mind, whether your actions are really pure or you're doing it for some other purpose. I think that's really important to watch in life. Am I doing this for fame, fortune, etc.? I'm just doing it because I love it. If you do it for fame, fortune, recognition, there's always a price to pay. When you do it for love of it, there's no price. There's only joy in doing it, in the service of it, in the peace of it. And that gives you peace. And that's the highest payment one can receive in life. The payment of peace and tranquility. That you can sleep because you know that all the money and everything you've done is milk and it's not water. It's not watered down. So that's a little story for people to mind their minds, even in that direction, business. What you give is what you get. You never know where it will come from and where it will go. You never know. And it's never from the source you think it's going to be from. It's always from a source that you never had an idea. And that's the interesting life. The thing about life, that's the adventure of life. Goodness can come from all directions. And this is so important. That's why it's so important. As we sow, we will reap. As you think, you become. So work with your mind. Spend every day thinking nice thoughts. Till one day you don't even have to think nice thoughts because you are the nice thoughts. You become it. You just become it. There's no work to do. In the beginning, there's a lot of work to do when you start with your mind. A lot of work. And then one day you suddenly get up and there's no thinking anymore. It's suddenly quiet. Because there's no disturbance, there's no lie, there's no causing harm to anyone. So nothing is going to be there except what is my day like? What do I have to finish? It becomes actually very practical. It becomes very practical. Okay, I have to cook this today, I have to do that. You just do, and you just work the energy. Because there's no desire in it, there's no achievement in it, there's no craziness in it. It is just for the sake of being alive and loving every second. And loving every second, even in the painful moments. Trying to live the painful moments. And say one day I'll write poetry about the painful moments. And I'll write songs about it. Some of the greatest songs are written in people's painful moments. They had to experience it to write it. And that is the healing, that is the healing, and that is the pain that comes to our life, to heal us from ourselves, from our connection, from our such a strong attachment to I, me, and mine. Because I, me, and mine are all going to disappear when your body stays behind. But I, me, the real me, is going to be with you forever. And that's consciousness, that's energy. That's going to stay with you. We studied the koshas in our course now. Koshas are the different parts of, maybe we'll cover that when we come back in January, so you understand what you are. And you know, the Raj Yogis that came on Saturday, the way they understood that, you know, the physical, and it was so encouraging for me to watch this, that they really understood that what they actually cannot take with them is the physical, but what they do take with them are the other parts of the kosha, with the other parts of us, which is our breath, because that's energy, prana. We take with us our minds, because it's part of our soul. We take with us with our intellect. And finally, we take with us what we were born to always have, Anandamaya Kosha, which is bliss. And the practice of self-observation is to take us back to the place of bliss while we're alive. That is the goal. Because we are already bliss. And all the other things, because we got so involved in the most material plane, we forgot all the other planes that are ourselves. And if we get more involved in the other planes, our soul energy, our breath energy, our intellect, feed it with good thoughts, and then we can have bliss while we're alive. That is the goal of minding the mind. Enjoying those moments of bliss.